Welcome, everybody, to the Follow D Money podcast. Here we are once again with a beautiful story coming out of the city of Indianapolis. Today, we find ourselves on the east side of downtown at Listen to Our Future. And I'm sitting with a young lady that I met at a family friend's, a mutual friend, but her family member. We were at a engagement party, I think, and this is my extended family, and for years, I've been hearing about this young lady. I've been told that we should meet and our visions kind of align. And at this party, we sat and had a conversation. I really felt like that conversation kind of took over my meaning for even being at that party. But once I heard her story and I heard what her mission was, I told myself I'm going to be involved and I'm going to help her the best way that I can. So today I'm finally happy to be able to have her on the podcast. You guys heard a lot about Listen to Our Future because we try to do as much as we can in the past year, trying to help them get to where they aspire to be. And today, I have my friend Lillian Barkes here to talk about Listen to Our Future, to talk about what she plans to do in the future, and talk about the future and her past. But I want to introduce you to everybody. And when we begin the podcast, I usually like people to tell us a little bit about themselves because everyone listening does not know who you are. And they do not know where you come from or what you've been through. But if you could just give us a brief history of who Lillian is, that would be great. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Welcome to the Learning Center. I'm super excited for us to just sit and chat about all the things. I think it's important to share stories and to, leave a lasting legacy on the earth. We are here for a reason. That's one of my core beliefs. So my name is Lillian. I am 28 years old. I'm going to be 29 next month. I am from Indianapolis. I was born in China. I'm a transracial adoptee, so that means I was born in another country and I was adopted by a white family. So my cousins and my parents, they were, 35 when they adopted me, brought me over here, and I was one, so that was 1 year old.
Dang.
I came home on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
So I was like the family's new Christmas Eve gift to the world. That's kind of where my journey started. And I've lived in Indianapolis, lived on the Far East Side at Michigan and Post. That's where I was exposed to a lot of poverty, a lot of drugs, a lot of violence. And my parents decided to move further on the Southeast Side. And growing up here in Indianapolis, I was exposed to a lot. I mean, I'm sorry, my eye is leaking again.
You're good.
But yeah, I was just exposed to a lot of different things, and that opened up my worldview that not everyone is in a loving, nurturing family. When you realize that you're not the same skin color as everyone else in your family, you start to ask yourself questions. And for me, I was probably 5 years old at the time. And I remember the moment, I sat in the mirror and I realized I don't look like anyone in my family. Right. I'm not white. And that opened up a world of conversation, a world of thought. I always knew that I was adopted, but I never knew what that really meant. And you kind of come into consciousness and start forming your identity really around kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. And that time for me, I struggled a lot with abandonment, but that over time evolved into learning more about the one child policy in China and how that, of course, has ramifications on a worldly side, but also just with how people were reporting things and like the extents that people would go to make sure that only there was one child in the family, or if there was more than one child in the family, then like heavy fines, forced
Yeah.
vasectomies,
Yeah.
mastectomies.
Well, one thing that I find challenging in your situation, and I always ask because I see white families adopting minorities all the time, which is helpful and great. I just wonder, at what age did you start to understand the contrast of your heritage and how you were being raised? Did you find that you were being raised white, or did you understand that you were different and your family allowed that in you to kind of flourish in that?
Yeah, I will say that like as close as you can get to that, it's never going to be that.
Right.
So I think my parents did try.
Yeah.
It was a lot of being ashamed of like who I was. I had, so IUPUI, IU Indianapolis now, they used to do Chinese school.
Mm-hmm.
And even in Chinese school, the girls that were adopted and the students that weren't adopted were in separate classes because we grew up in different households, spoke Mandarin over here, did not over here.
Yeah.
But that like segregation it's always been a sense of segregation. You're one foot in, one foot out. You're not enough, but you're too much.
Yeah.
So I think my parents, they tried to get me involved, but then it became, I'm just so different. I have no one that I can actually relate to. So let me do everything that I can to not be that.
Yeah.
And so I think I developed like a different personality because of that.
Yeah.
Like I tried not to fit into the stereotypes. I tried not to be what everyone else wanted me to be. And then it got to, I tried to be everything that everyone wanted me to be.
Right.
And that happens during your early adolescence, middle school, high school. And I didn't know who I was until I went to school at IU Indy, started taking some classes that really challenged myself. And I remember like I took a training, IPS. They do a really great DEI training. And at the end of it, Dr. Pat Payne, and if you don't know who Dr. Pat Payne is, she's like super great. But she was like, what's something that you're happy, like proud of when it comes to your race? And I just couldn't think of anything.
Wow.
One, because I feel so disconnected to my race. But then two, I haven't really taken the time to explore that. So it's always learning.
Yeah.
Always learning.
In your time, you're 28 now?
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
From when you were at least 5 to now, how has your acceptance and knowledge of your heritage changed from not having a lot of education about it to being able to have all the knowledge that you can get today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just been evolving, I think every adoptee kind of goes through their own journey with who they are and like what they want that to mean for them. So I've definitely gone to the extent to try to connect with my birth family.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it's really thinking about how do I blend these worlds together, because we're here on the Near East Side and my adopted mom, her grandmother, and her mother lived right down the block on Eastern Street. And the last words that my mom said to me before she died was she was talking about St. Philip Neri, which is a Catholic church over on Eastern. And so now here I am on East Washington Street with this building. And I think someone once said, like, we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. And for me, what the heck does that mean? Who are my ancestors?
Right.
Like, how do I relate that to the Chinese side of myself?
Yeah.
How do I relate that to the adopted side of myself?
Yeah.
And the family that I have here that I'm close to, you know, how do I blend those two worlds together? And so I think my whole life has been seeking those answers. And I've just been following my purpose, my passion. And that has allowed me to end up where I am today in the very same neighborhood that my mother and grandmother were so connected to.
Did you find that you were someone that helped your family to evolve as well? Or did you try to just be a part of the family? I think that in my experience, when we have different cultures raising minorities, they feel that the best way to do it is to make people feel welcome at like one of them. And I don't know your experience, but like I have mixed children, and I think that their family on their mom's side wants them to be raised like there's no color, you know, like that's the best way to do it. And they don't really recognize who they are and what they have to deal with when they're outside of the family. I don't know if you would be the person that opened the minds. I know your family pretty well, you know, and they are very, very good people, but I don't know them in the household. I wasn't raised with them. So I just want to know how that experience was with you.
So I was like the youngest for a long time. And I think that kind of like played into the tokenism of here's this like Chinese baby, like a Chinese baby doll. Right. And getting passed around a lot. And I think my mom definitely like fed into that. My cousin still calls me princess. And that was like, I was spoiled, you know, like I was and I don't think people understand, like, for a transracial adoptee, the experience, my personal experience, is that I forget what I look like. I don't really know what I look like.
Oh, okay.
People can look in the mirror and they're like, okay, this is what I look like. And they look at their environment around them and it's reflected of that. You know, I didn't start, there weren't Black people in my dreams until I started being more in culturally diverse areas. And because I grew up in like all white schools and an all white family. And so that was like, I have to remind myself that I am not white. And I don't know if people have that. There's not a whole lot of people that really truly have that experience.
Right. No, you're exactly right.
And I think like, you know, so my partner is Black, and being on his side of the family and then being on my side of the family, you know, I definitely see it's just different. It's different in like the conversation that's being had. It's different in the cultural norms. It's different in the way that we are able to move about in society and not feel like the burdens and the pressure of systemic racism. And when you are immersed in this culture, and then when you are immersed in this culture, now it's like, you know, my mom and I, when we were going places, it would be like, oh my gosh, you're so cute. You're so pretty. Like, you know, Asian little girl and safe. Safe. You know, my partner and I, like, we've had to walk out of restaurants because people refuse to acknowledge that we existed. I don't know, you know, like you feel people staring. Like we went to Spark Fest in Carmel, and this was probably like 5-6 years ago almost. And I could just feel people staring at us. And so you just, and so I think my family learns from my personal experiences and the fact that I can talk about them. You know, and I'm not afraid to talk about them. Because that's my responsibility. And with everything that's going on in the world right now, I don't get a pass. I do not get a pass.
But I think that I call that a privilege for other people, because being able to not say anything in today's climate is a privilege for some people. Like you said, you don't get a pass because it is your lived experience. So people can acknowledge it or they can ignore it. And a lot of people can just live without saying a word and then choose a side when it's safe for them. Mm-hmm. And we don't have that privilege. So speaking out and speaking about injustices and inequality is kind of not even a brave thing to do, but a necessary thing to do for us. But for people in our families and people who say that they love us, that is their time to support us. Mm-hmm. That is their way of supporting us. And a lot of times they fall short, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But we have to continue to do what we do. Mm-hmm. And we're going to do that. Can you tell me the difference in the mindset that you have today than when you were little?
Yeah. So I think, there's optimism and there's pessimism. Mm. The glass is half full, the glass is half empty. Mm-hmm. What side of that are you on? Like, what mindset do you have? And I think, like, growing up, I had a very pessimistic mindset. Yep. My mindset with adoption is like, oh, why is it abandonment? Like, there was always this negative, but that was so reflective of my lived experience of being abandoned at birth. Yeah. So if you take a moment, go to the other side of optimism, it becomes a story of, out of all the places in the world, out of all the people in the world, a higher power, whatever, this energy, God, Allah, whoever, orchestrated something so grand that I ended up here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah. And I have the ability to do, I'm educated. Yeah. I got a college degree. Yeah. I still struggled. Like, I have single parent household. But you earn like an appreciation in the fact that you could have literally been anywhere. And that is just so much more of a reality for me than it might be from someone who like came from their mother's womb.
Right. I get that.
Like, could be working in a sweatshop, not being educated. Yeah. What type of impact could I have made in China? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not one. Maybe I would be dead. There's all sorts of realities that could be true. So I think like really putting on that like heart of gratitude of I have been chosen to be here in this space, in this moment of time to do something. And this is something that I'm going to do.
Right. And having that mindset going into where you are now today, there had to be a path that got you here, mm-hmm. right? And like you said, you're educated, you went to college, and you have experience now too because you went into education, mm-hmm. right? And how did that choice, that career choice, get you here?
Mm-hmm. So I actually didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to be an engineer.
Oh, okay.
I always loved STEM. I love building things. Really good with ideas, really good with organization. I took all the, like Project Lead the Way courses. And my senior year of high school, I had the experience of my teacher not really believing in women in the construction field, mm-hmm. To where he wouldn't allow us to like use power tools until the third week of class. My first assignment that I ever turned in, he didn't even look at it and was like, go double check it. And I was like, I'm done. I promise you. So yeah, like having that experience and like, do I want to deal with this every day? No. Okay. I've always had a passion for like helping people and education. And my grandmother was a teacher and my grandfather was a principal. Yep. So that was kind of like always adjacent to my life. Yep. And so I switched and I started doing like cadet teaching at my high school and I enjoyed it. Yep. And then I declared my major of education and I went to IU Indy, so I lived at home and I would commute. I was on my own when it came to paying for my college education. So my freshman year, I applied for as many grants or grant scholarships as I could. And then I got 2 jobs. I worked at the undergraduate admissions office at IUPUI. And then I also worked at the John Bonner Neighborhood Center here on the Near East Side. Yep. And so that was my exposure to the education after school youth world. I worked at School 14, which is like a 2-minute round, couple blocks away from here. And I just really fell in love with the neighborhood and the work that I was doing and the students and helping them learn a lot. Yep. But yeah, so yeah, that was the transition.
Yep. And how did those experiences land you the idea of starting Listen to Our Future?
So when I worked at the Bonner Center, I had a supervisor. Her name is Sarah Daniel, and she's amazing. She runs her own organization here called Unconditional Ministries, and she helps women that are trying to exit out of the entertainment industry.
Okay.
And I watched her, work this full-time job and also do things on the side. And interestingly enough, the midpoint between where Sarah was and the woman who was helping pack gifts for them to take, I lived right in the middle of them and I could do the handoff. So that's kind of how I got involved with that. And just watching her pursue so faithfully and so surrendering to her purpose.
Yeah.
I saw that. And I think if I didn't have that experience and witness that, then it would have been a lot harder for me to do that myself.
Yeah.
And in 2019, I was 2 weeks before I was supposed to graduate from college. I met my partner, Brandon.
Yep.
And he asked me, "What are you going to do after graduation?" And I looked at him like, "What do you mean? I'm going to go teach. Are you crazy?"
Right.
I had my teaching job lined up. I was working at Brookside. I was going to be a 3rd grade teacher there. But as soon as those words came out of my mouth, I knew that wasn't going to be it. So I was like, I don't know. He's like, "Why don't you just, run a school?" And I was like, no, I don't want to get into that world. But I was like, maybe I could see myself running a nonprofit one day.
Right.
And the words came out of my mouth. I don't know if you believe in manifestation.
I do.
But a whole year later, this was the summer of 2020.
Okay.
COVID.
Yep.
Black Lives Matter movement.
Yep.
Figuring out how we all, I think the social political climate was very hot, intense.
Yep.
And it's just been this building point, this bubbling point.
Yep.
And we decided to just do something. We sit here, we go out, we protest, we sit here, we have conversations, but where's the action? Where are the action-based solutions?
Mm-hmm.
I also don't really, I kind of have a problem with authority. Not not a problem with authority, but I question, I'm not just one to comply because you tell me to.
Yep.
And that was because of my Catholic school education. So I just questioned things and continued to question them. And it got to the point of why can't we do something about it?
And what was your something so we're sitting in your building, Listen to Our Future. How did the idea of this come to life? Because you had all those experiences during COVID and protesting and having conversations with Brandon. But what made you say, this is the resource that I want to give back to this community?
So, when I was working at the Bonner Center, I got introduced to project-based learning. And project-based learning is essentially, the best way I can describe it is taking an authentic issue in your community and developing a project around that.
Yep.
To either give information or address a byproduct. And you're tying in the academic state standards and all the things that the students need to know to develop the proficiency to execute that effectively.
Yep.
And I thought this was such a great way to learn. It's like traditional learning, you start small and then you go wide. But project-based learning, you start wide and you go small. And you're really taking big concepts and you're narrowing them down.
Yep.
And I saw this as an opportunity to teach young people the real skills that you need to know to be an adult.
Yep.
At the end of the day.
Yep.
Literally everything that we do is solving a problem. So that's where it started. And the idea was, okay, how do we use project-based learning to get young people to take action? And the name Listen to Our Future came to be because of my desire of this like younger version of myself to just have the adults in my life listen to me. You know, I feel like there were a lot of teachers in my life, a lot of adults in my life that didn't listen to me and didn't listen to my ideas. But then I also had some experiences where there were adults in my life that did.
Yep.
When I was in third grade, I organized a toy drive, and I was able to raise over 360 toys and donate them back. But that all happened because someone listened to me, like my parents listened to me.
Right.
So you have like this suppression of voice and like this suppression of like who you are and the change that you want to make in the world. And I think that we as humans are created to create.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so if you suppress that creation and the ability to, you know, like imaginate and create,
yep.
then you're really doing people a disservice, and people were doing me a disservice. So this was like breaking out of that.
Yeah.
That took a lot of work.
That puts a different perspective on even how I view this place, because when I heard Listen to Our Future as the title of your organization, I was kind of looking at it as a statement.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to our future.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a command.
Mm-hmm.
It's for people who are not listening to listen to our future in the way that you described it. And that's super dope.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for that.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I want to know, getting to this point, can you name a moment that you realized that you were having an impact in the community and that you needed to work harder, smarter, longer, and more eagerly and with more intention because of this particular moment?
My last class that I taught, we got to tutor them. So I think it's just that. The fact that I get to be part of their lives. And when I was working at the Bonner Center, I became like really sad when I thought about becoming a teacher.
Yep.
And just being in their lives for 1 year and then sending them off.
Right.
And my first year teaching was the pandemic. And that was like a really big loss for me. Like I still think about my students that I had during that time all the time. I still talk about them. And as someone who wants to help you by whatever means necessary to help you succeed, the pandemic really like didn't allow for that. So, for example, a lot of my students, they did not have computers at home. They didn't have electronic devices. So I went on like Facebook Marketplace and I started asking people if they had any computers or tablets. And so I would drive all the way up to like Fisher's, Carmel, collect some devices, go back to my house, factory reset them, do all the things that I needed to do, wipe them clean. And then I would go and distribute them to my students on the east side.
Wow.
And I was doing that consistently. I got like this micro grant and where I was able to buy enough school supplies. So all my students like got a bag and they got like a workbook and all the things that they would need to do things at home.
Yep.
I partnered with the Patachu Foundation, and which they've changed their name, and they gave me like guacamole bags, like how to make it. There's just like the make and take.
Yeah.
And so I visited my student's house probably 3 times during the pandemic.
Wow.
And I don't know who else, what you have to do different things to get different outcomes.
Yep.
And my goal as a person is to break down as many barriers to opportunity.
Yep.
And if the barrier for you is that you don't have a device at home, then I'm going to do what I can to get you a device. And if you show up or not, like that's up to you. And even like families that had 5, 6 kids in the home, I was giving them multiple devices because it's not realistic for all 6 of your kids to
use one thing.
Yeah. That's outrageous.
Yep.
So yeah, I think, and that's meeting people where they are, meeting people where they dream, And all the questions, all the whatever, the stipulations, like we're called to love unconditionally. And so if we're going to put conditions on things, then why are we doing it in the first place?
Correct. You don't do it for the response or the reaction. You're doing it because you know it's the right thing to do.
Right.
Yeah. The community that you serve and that you are a part of, one thing people don't understand, you're talking and you're sharing your story, but this is not the person that you have always been.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people don't know that. Would you say introvert? Are you an introvert?
I say that I'm a chameleon.
You can be extroverted
Mm-hmm.
when you need to be,
Mm-hmm.
but naturally you just kind of sit there and absorb.
Yes, I like to just exist.
And that's fine.
Yes.
With that in mind, how important is it for you to build a relationship with your community and to let them know that you are someone that they can communicate with and that you are a resource? How important is that, being visible and vocal in your community?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, to me, like, when you come from the background of not knowing who you are, I've never been in the same room with someone that I'm blood related to.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy.
So when you take that, it's like you have to get in where you fit in.
Yeah.
And I think when I say like I'm a chameleon, because that's what I've learned to do my entire life.
Yeah.
But part of that means figuring out what type of chameleon I am, and being able to have control over the way that I can adapt to situations, not let the situation control me.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've really had to learn. And, I've never appreciated hypocrisy, as I feel like most people haven't, but yet like we're still struggling with it. And when I say listen to our future, I really mean like listen to our future. And if I wasn't doing that, then I would be the very people that I have complained about my entire life.
Yeah.
So part of that is listening to people, listening to young people, listening to what they have to say, listening to people's lived experiences, and just really being in tune with that. You never know why. And that's what I'm always seeking for. Well, like, why, until I can get to the very nitty gritty of, okay, this is why.
Yeah.
Because if we can identify that, then we can find a proper remedy. Yeah. I was recently on the news and we were talking with a reporter, and the reporter really wanted to like touch on violence. And I was like, okay, but like if we talk about violence, then that's too late.
Right.
We're not talking about the food insecurity. We're not talking about the housing insecurity. We're not talking about the just like lack of basic needs and care that is leading up to, okay, now I have to do things to make money. And then here comes the violence. Yeah. Like, I'm trying to stay like over here and push the conversation further. Yeah. We talk with our staff about their threshold of tolerance when it comes to working with youth, because if you are constantly maxing yourself out every day, then of course you're going to get burnt out. But if you are given the right tools and resources to lower that threshold, then you can now regulate what's going on. Yep. And so if we want to have more fruitful and more positive conversations, then we have a responsibility to lower that threshold of tolerance to know, like, we're gonna put focus right here.
Yep.
So that way we don't have to get all the way here.
Yeah.
While it exists, sure, we can acknowledge it. But again, I think that's where the optimism versus pessimism really lies.
Yeah.
And what side of the...
Yeah, we kind of touched on that off camera, but I think that when we have these conversations, a lot of us come in with a mind that was already focused on the negative. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to figure out why the negative is happening without focusing on how the positive can help.
And I think that's part of the human condition. to like think about the negative.
But
you
that's
know,
why
like,
exceptional people exist.
yeah.
Because you want to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And that's why your voice is important. That's why your work is important.
And I think it's just really understanding, like, I had to surrender control over Listen to Our Future. You know, while like we started this, we are here now. Like, this isn't because of me. This is because of all of the people that came before me. This is because of all of the people that have helped me along the way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know how to think of it other than that.
Yeah. What has been some of the best advice you've been given to this point?
The best advice. Keep trying.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. Like, no matter how ridiculous it sounds, because it's probably only ridiculous to you. Like, you tell yourself these things.
You talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But really, it's just like, no.
Right.
You can make shit. You can make
shit.
Shit.
You
can make shake. You can make a shake.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, that again, optimism, pessimism. And don't get me wrong, like I get caught up in this like pessimistic mindset.
Right.
You know, mental health, like struggle with that, all these things. But I have to constantly remind myself. And I've been signing my email signatures with gratitude because I just need to have more of a heart of gratitude.
Okay.
That's a personal goal for me.
Yep.
So like, let's speak it into existence.
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. Where do you see, or what would you like Listen to Our Future to be in 5 years?
So we actually are doing strategic planning to really like identify what our vision is for Listen to Our Future.
Yeah.
And we've kind of identified 3 things: that young people are listened to and taken seriously in their communities, that young people have the educational support that they need to be successful, and that we are actively, collectively making change. You know, that's what we envision. So what does that mean for us? What does that look like? You know, we want to continue to expand to other places, because there's no shortage of young people that need help, whether it's academically or whether it's just like having good people in your life.
Yep.
You can never not have too many good people in your life.
Correct.
So, and people that can help guide you along the way, and cross-generational support. You know, we are a youth serving organization, 5 to 24. We're mixing near peer, close generations. So that way we are building the levels of support. You know, usually as a child, like you have your parents, but who are those people? You might have like siblings, but who are those other people? You know, you might have your cousins, but we need to, takes a village.
Right.
Gotta have more.
Gotta have more. And what exactly? So if someone is asking you what Listen to Our Future is and what you provide, how do you describe that?
Listen to Our Future is a youth empowerment organization that provides educational services for students ages 5 to 24. And we do this through high dosage tutoring, project-based learning, and youth employment. That is what I tell them.
That is what you tell them.
That is what I tell them.
And how is it that someone gets involved with Listen to Our Future, being as a student or a volunteer?
Yeah. So if you are a student in need of academic support, right? And I think what makes Listen to Our Future different is that we are focusing on academic health and wellness. You know, our students are standardized tested so frequently that you can't be academically well.
Yeah.
And so we are priming students to not be well in areas where you should want to continue to like grow, develop, learn new skills, learn new things. And that like carries on with them for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Right? So if you want to get involved with tutoring or academic health and wellness, we have a form on our website that people can fill out if they want that for their students. Now, if you're like college age and you're looking for a job, we're currently only hiring federal work study, and, you know, we're a nonprofit. So funding is always crazy. I think we've really experienced the the surplus of ESSER funding, which was like our COVID recovery dollars. And now we're experiencing the drought of people taking away federal money for different programs, budget slashes, taking away services for English language learners,
so
special education students.
You're experiencing the result of people's votes. Okay.
Very much so.
Okay.
Very, very much so.
If you were to talk to little Lillian, 5-year-old, or let's say 5th grade Lillian, what would you tell her?
You're not crazy. You're not crazy. Keep questioning. Like, keep bothering people.
Yeah.
You know, I said earlier I went to Catholic school, and they awarded me the Citizenship Bible.
The Citizenship Bible?
Yes, it was the first time that they ever did it. It may have been the last, but I
never heard of that.
Me neither. But I was like really like questioning, like, why would they give this to me? Because my whole middle school experience, I felt like I was like arguing with my teachers about the sexism that was going on in my school.
Right.
You know, the disrespectful like language that was being used and causing trouble, you know, good trouble.
Yeah.
Good troubles. Challenging the status quo.
Right.
Which, you know.
As you should.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I do.
You were very professional. You were, so well-spoken. And we know about Listen to Our Future. We know about your past. But what do you do when you want to have fun? What do you do when you want to relax?
So crazy that you say that, because I got done with 3 grants and 2 grant reports last week. So like fun is, forgot what that was for a second. But for me, it's just like spending time with my people.
Yeah.
You know, trying new things, going out and trying new restaurants.
Yeah.
Meeting new people. You know, I didn't used to be a networker.
Right.
I used to like turn my nose up at all of that. But I took like StrengthsFinder, and I found out that 3 out of my top 5 strengths are in building relationships. So that really was a sign to me that I was not like being my most authentic self.
Right.
So I really think that I've been on a journey for like the past year and a half to figure out what does that mean for me. And if you like, you like. If you don't, you don't. I'm going to not conform to what other people want me to be.
Don't conform.
Just because I spent too much time doing that. People question my intelligence because I did that.
Okay.
And that's, no.
Don't do that.
No.
When doing what you do and building relationships and becoming a productive member of your community, there are people that you come in contact with that may inspire you, that you could look up to, that you could admire. Are there any people that you can think of that have motivated you to do what you do better, more, stronger, like someone in the community that you kind of refer to as like someone who helps you keep going? Family, friends, anything.
I'm going to say my partner, not to sound corny, but I don't think we would have made it this far if it wasn't for, first of us meeting.
Right.
And then second of all, you know, like watching him be an entrepreneur, watching him become a jack of all trades, and then doing so well in the things that he's good at, that he has created sustainability for himself. So I think, you know, like having someone to climb up the ladder with you, so to speak. You know, I can't imagine being in a relationship with someone that's lazy.
Right.
That's just wouldn't be compatible.
Right.
But, you know, and we are doing it in our own way. You know, we're both very involved with Listen to Our Future and the nonprofit, but he also has his own things and his own interests.
Yeah.
And being able to watch him like develop and become a professional in those things. I mean, it's amazing what we as humans have capacity for.
Yeah.
And that if you believe in yourself and you just keep surrounding yourself with other people that also believe in you,
Yeah.
you would be very surprised where you get.
Yeah, I think it's really amazing and beautiful that if I ask that question, you refer to the person that you share a life with.
Mm-hmm.
That's really dope. And that says a lot about the type of relationship you have and who you are as people for each other. And he has great energy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know him, and he is an amazing human being. You guys are both lucky to have each other, so that's dope. My last question for you is one that I ask everybody, and I want to know how you would define success.
Making it on Forbes 40 under 40 or 30 under 30. You know, I still got time. No, but I think it's like, I look at this room and I look at all these books. Someone wrote all of these books. I think about the, we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. What kind of legacy do I want to leave? You know, when my kids, when people who have been impacted by Listen to Our Future say, I stand on the shoulders of, I want them to think of me. Yeah. I want them to think of me as someone that has been there as a cornerstone of support, that has welcomed them unconditionally, and that has provided, positively contributed to their life.
Yeah.
Because when I look at the people, it's not just, my bloodline. It's so many people in my life. So I think it's really that, leaving that lasting legacy and having record of it. That's the amazing thing about books.
Yeah.
And technology is that we can keep record of all of these things. And coming from someone who doesn't have a record, who, right. Even wild. My record that does exist from my adoption, we don't how they claim to have found me might not even be true.
Wow.
So I think for me, it's keeping that record.
Well,
have a successful record.
A successful record.
Yes.
I think that's possible. Well, now, and I thank you for your time. I thank you for the interview. It's great. I think a lot of people are going to be informed about Listen to Our Future and see what inspired me to want to be involved. How can people help? How can people get in contact? How can people come see the space? Because I think sometimes showing up and seeing what you're doing and listen to you speak in person kind of motivates people to help. So tell people how to get in contact with you.
Well, if you call, it's my cell phone number.
Okay.
So CEOs, I believe in counter-dominant leadership. I believe, that whole top-down thing, it hasn't been working. Yeah. So let's try to shake it up a little bit. Yep. So people can call, they can reach out, they can text me directly. They can also go onto our website. Our contact information is there. We'll send them a link. They can book a private tour. Yep. If they want to volunteer, our volunteer link will also be live here soon. If they want to support monetarily, we have our merch shop. We are also doing our donor wall. So that's a really great way for people to just see how we are going to stand together.
Yep.
And we are going to take the opportunity, and we are going to stand on the side of optimism and say, let's listen to our future and let's invest in that.
Yep.
Because they deserve it. It's a long time overdue.
Yep.
And I think if we shift that, we unlock the potential that we have as people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So yeah.
Contact her.
Yeah.
Oh, are we doing a book drive still or no?
We are doing a book drive. If any businesses would like to put boxes outside of their establishment to collect books, new, used, whatever, doesn't matter to me. They can contact me to get some boxes, and we'll put them outside. You
can contact me too. If you want to put a box outside your establishment, I will get in contact with Lillian and we'll get those books to her. Now, we're about to have fun.
Okay.
I mean, it might not be fun.
Okay.
But we're doing our segment that we call This or That.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have a challenge for you because this segment is usually a time where I try to raise money to donate to Listen to Our Future.
Mm-hmm.
In about the last 2 months or maybe 10 or 5 to 8 episodes, I've lost track of what I owe. So my challenge to you is you have to find out how much we owe.
Okay, hey, I'm going to do it.
So that means that you have to go back, listen to all of the This or That's, and tell me how much we owe. Because some people said that they will match. Some people said, but I have a debt that I owe, and we're going to square up at I will say at the end of the year, because we're going to be recording till the end of the year, and then we'll be able to figure that out. But so you have until this December, and I have until I have till January. But, okay. So here is This or That for Lillian. Listen to Our Future CEO. Mm-hmm. The first one is, in community change, would you rather have grassroots organizing or policy reform?
I would have to say policy reform right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you want after, or we can move on, but if there's a reason.
And I think there's so many great things to grassroots organizing. I think the capacity is something that, I went to school to be a teacher. What? Yeah. Like, I didn't go to school for philanthropy or business or any of that, marketing, but I had to figure out how to do it all. Yeah. Luckily, I've been tech savvy enough to get us, okay. Yep. I have a lot of skills, but not everyone has that, but they have the same passion, they have the same drive. And I really think that, policy right now is doing a lot of crazy things. Right. I'm actually part of Indiana After School Network. They have a advocacy champions cohort that is teaching us how to talk to our legislators, how to write bills, how to revise bills,
That's
how to
really
look
dope.
at bills.
Yeah.
So definitely
policy.
Yeah.
Okay. So you like to lead from the front or lead from behind the scenes?
Okay. Someone once really smart told me and complimented me when I was in college. He said, Lily, you're a good leader because you know when to speak up and you know when to be quiet. So I think both. And
you can't do that.
But if you're the leader, you can.
But you have to pick one or you don't get no money.
Okay. I'm going to say lead from the front because I'm short, and if I'm in the back, then no one's going to see me.
Nobody going to see. Okay. All right. But if you lead from the back, you could be as tall as me and not be seen.
Well, yeah.
All right. Spend a year with no phone or no mirror?
Okay. Could I spend a year with no mirror? For sure. For sure. Sometimes I forget to look in the mirror in the morning.
Okay.
But I should say no phone because phone addiction is real.
Okay.
I know someone that just recently switched to a dumb phone, and I was like, wow, this is so great.
Oh, because you can't get on internet and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like,
a dumb phone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Might bring those back.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So you lock your phone in for a few hours or something, just use the dumb phone. Yeah. That sounds good. Power in society, money or voice? When you're thinking of power in society, do you think of money or voice?
Money.
Money. Okay. Fast disruptive change or sustainable growth?
Okay, so there's this test called compass points.
Yep.
And it's north, south, east, west. I'm a hard north, and north means that you just jump right into things before taking really
fast
thinking about
disruptive.
things. So I'm on that track.
Okay. Beyonce or Rihanna?
That's so hard because I really like rock Rihanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like thick Rihanna.
I like early Beyonce.
Okay.
So it's
well, you gotta pick one.
That's hard. I know. If I had to pick one, I would say Rihanna.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rihanna, Riri. All right. Super Bowl halftime show or Oscars red carpet?
I'm sorry, what?
The Super Bowl halftime show, would you rather watch, or the Oscars red carpet?
Oh, halftime show.
Halftime show. Okay.
Doesn't take as long.
Okay. All right. Forgiveness. Is it easier to give or harder to receive?
For me,
Not for me.
for me, it's easier to give or harder to receive. Well, it's not easy for me.
She says it's not easy for me to forgive nobody.
I'm a Scorpio, and so I heard that means that they hold grudges.
That says a lot.
I don't know.
It's harder for you to receive then.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, there.
Well, I'll take it. Okay. Would you rather lose all your texts and emails or all your photos?
All of my texts and emails. Do you want to see how many texts I have on my phone?
You don't have a lot.
No, I have 1,044.
That you haven't read?
That I have not read. And my email.
Right.
No, I promise you.
But make sure you guys contact her if you want to help.
The important ones make it through. I promise. And then yeah.
So
email is.
So is it pictures? You rather get rid of all your pictures?
No, I'd rather get rid of all my text messages.
You don't even know what's in them.
Exactly. They're all the ones that don't matter.
I'd rather get rid of it. I don't even know what they are.
So I was actually someone used my phone number. I've had this phone number since I was in the 6th grade. Someone used it to put it on a house in Indianapolis. And all the gentrifiers call me to try to purchase my house. And I'm like, this isn't my house.
Wow, okay.
And the guy's really old and he's doesn't want to sell his house. I'm just leave this poor man alone. But there's so much spam now.
Stop.
So much spam now.
Okay. Would you rather be more defined by where you're from or where you're going?
Where I'm going.
Okay. Always speak your mind or always keep the peace?
Speak your mind.
Speak your mind. Pacer game or Colts game?
Pacers game. Not because the Pacers Foundation is one of our sponsors, but,
Okay. The truth. Always better spoken or sometimes better protected?
Spoken.
Spoken.
Okay. Don't be like that.
Okay.
What? That's so fake.
Hey, sometimes people say you got to fake it till you make it.
Kimberly, she's our staffing and communications coordinator. She says if you're going to shoot the arrow of honesty, dip it in honey.
Oh, so it's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay. You're going to shoot it in their mouth, I hope. Okay. All right. The last one. Would you rather travel to the past to meet your ancestors or travel to the future to meet your descendants?
Ooh, that's a hard one.
It is. It was hard for me when I looked at it, yeah.
Wow.
I have an answer too, but that's a good question.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I'm going to say future because I feel like if I went to the past, there'd be a language barrier.
No.
I don't speak Chinese.
Okay, we're gonna give you translation
the
headphones.
Tools that I need.
Yeah,
okay.
Right, every tool you need to hear them.
Okay, I'm gonna say, oh gosh, that's so hard. I'm gonna stick with future.
All right, that's good. So you will be able to see your impact, basically.
Yeah.
That's dope. Well, that's it.
Cool.
That concludes my time with my homie. And I hope that everyone felt the motivation that I felt when we first met. And I love that you got to tell your story on my platform. And I'm always going to be a resource for you, just letting you know that.
Yeah.
And I want everyone to be mindful that all of your hard work and intentionality is not going unseen and heard.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. I want to thank the Follow D Money team for everything that they do behind the scenes. You guys can't see them, but what you are looking at is a result of one of the best teams in the city coming together every time we put this out. And you can find us on followdmoney.com. Help us out any way you can. Reach out on all socials, and we'll see you next time. Boom!
Deep money.